Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Barber223, and if you aren't familiar with my channel, I like to do a lot of build videos. So here we are again. This build is a range Magplar. It's a lot different than any other Magplar, let alone range Magplar that I played in general. It's very fun, it's very different, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, show support to the channel because we are really trying to grow. I'm really trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, so let's make that happen, please. Thank you. I'll give you all a kiss on the cheek if you make it happen. Alright, so let's go over it. So we're going to go over characters screen, we're going to go over inventory, we're going to go over skills, and we'll go over CP. And then I'll go over a couple replacement things you can use if you want to use. Alright, so we'll do character screen first. Yeah, alright, so let's do it. So right now we got about 20k magic. I'm just going to round up for the sake of it. And 33k health, 15.5k stamina. We got 1,000 mag recovery. We got 1,000 stam recovery. We got almost 4,000 weapon and spell damage. We got 14% crit. We got 4,000 pen. We got hold up. Got 31,000 resistances and 28 on the front. All these stats are wrong. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're running a bunch of stuff. It's going to change our recoveries. It's going to change our stats. It's going to change our damages. So keep in mind, these are just our flat-based, unbuffed stats. Alright, so just keep that in mind. So if I were to just simply have my crit and my spell damage buff, not even minor sorcery, just major sorcery, we're at almost 4,600. We are at 4,600. So that's really nice. Alright, so that is the character screen. We have 40 points into health, 24 into magic. Do whatever you think is necessary. That's up to you. We are an orc. For me, orc is my favorite race besides Breton. The reason being, you get passive movement speed. That's really nice. You get passive damage. You get passive health. Like, you get a lot of stuff for being an orc. But that movement speed really is a game changer. We use Jewels of Misrule. I think Jewels of Misrule is my favorite food. Aside from the gold version of this, which is the bear haunch or whatever it is, Jewels of Misrule is my favorite. We're using the mage. We are Vamp stage 3. Besides my Arcanist, I feel like Vamp has to happen. Like, you take more flame damage, but who cares, right? You gotta get that undeath passive, so I go Vamp. You can use any Mundus you think necessary, but I like the mage just to get a little bit more magic. Alright, so on the front bar, we are using Deadly. Alright, so Deadly, if you don't know, buffs your dot damage. Alright, so your dot damage is really good on a Templar. Like, it really hits, I'm not even gonna lie. But what does Deadly give you? Let's see. So it gives you weapon and spell damage, nice. Critical, nice. Weapon and spell damage again, very nice. And then lastly, your damage with your dots and channeled attacks is increased by 15%. That's literally everything we use on this build. So like, everything we do is gonna get buffed by 15%. Like, it's basically, it's so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. It makes us hit so hard. Like, the dots that we do end up hitting ridiculously hard. Now, there's a mistake on here. You don't want a shock glyph. You want a poison glyph. The reason you want a poison glyph is because dots do more damage. Poison glyphs are a dot. You don't want to use flame. The reason being is because you already can apply burning in other ways. So you don't want to use burning again as your dot, because then it just refreshes the duration rather than applying another dot. So you want to use poison. Alright, so poison glyph's the best. We do use sharpen. We always use sharpen. Yes, charge is nice. You can apply status effects more often, but you're gonna apply status effects anyways. So sharpen's better. It's a better bet for you. But 15%. Think about that. 15%. That's a lot of damage. When I go over the skills, you'll understand what I mean. On the back bar, alright, we're using something different. Now, there's other alternatives. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's other alternatives. Rallying Cry exists, but the thing with Rallying Cry is that comes in light. 7th Legion's heavy, so I was like, I want heavy. Now there's Briarheart. Hell, you could even use Clever Alchemist. You could use really any heavy armor spell damage set. But for me, I was like, when I used the defensive set, I feel like I was lacking damage, but 7th Legion gives you healing because of spell damage, and it also gives you damage because, well, spell damage. So I thought this was the best bet. So we use a Berserker Glyph always on our back bar, and then we have a defending trait. So we have weapon and spell damage, we have health recovery, which is kind of meh. Then we have crit chance, which is good. And then when you cast an ability that increases your weapon or your physical or spell resistance, which we always will have, you increase your spell damage by 329 and health recovery for 15 seconds, and this can occur every 15 seconds. So essentially it has 100% uptime. It never is down, which is really, really, really nice. So like I said before, our spell damage and stats are not right. I'll show you in a minute what they really should be. But yeah, 300 and something spell damage just for playing the game, essentially. The health recovery would have been nice a few patches ago when health recovery was the meta, which was a while ago. I remember everyone used to run Troll King or whatever it is, and stack health recovery, which was actually pretty fun, I'm not going to lie. That was a fun build. But yeah, we are using 7th Legion. So you just switch your back bar, use your armor buff, and boom, you get a bunch of spell damage. So it's really, really nice. Again, there's other options like burning spell. We use light armor, but again, you want heavy armor because deadly comes in medium. So I'd rather have that heavy. Yeah. All right. So we are using Malabeth Scourger. For me, I'm not gonna lie, Malabeth Scourger is my favorite monster set. I think in the whole game. Like, it just makes you kind of unkillable. Like, to be honest with you. It gives health, and then when you take damage, you have a 10% chance to tether to an enemy from 8 meters. 8 meters is not that short. It's actually a decent amount of distance. It does damage, so it does 800 a second, which is nice. It does 1,000 a second when we're buffed up, which really isn't that bad. Also, believe it or not, deadly buffs this. So that's really good. It does 15% more with deadly, so that's cool. You heal for the damage call, so that you have some healing coming in. And then you gain major vitality, increasing your healing received by 16%. It has 100% uptime given that it procs. So if it procs, it has 100% uptime. If it doesn't proc on the 10% chance, it'll not have 100%, but it'll be close. 10% is low, but you're getting hit with dots and every other attack in the game, so it will proc constantly. Major vitality is amazing because it's not the same as major mending. Okay, so major mending is not the same. If you heavy attack with your Resto Staff and have this up, you're getting 32% healing. Yes, 32%. Alright, they are two separate buffs, so they can stack on one another. Very, very, very powerful. I mostly use this because as a range plar, let's be honest, people will push you. Nightblades and every other build in the game will push you. And you can still fight up close, right? You want to be range, but it doesn't matter. You can fight up close. It ain't changing much. You can still run your combos. It ain't going to really matter. And this is going to help you out a ton. Sometimes I'll survive and cleanse and heal, and people just give up fighting me. Alright, so then we are using Triglyph, we're using Reinforce. Alright, so then we have 7th Legion, we have Malabeth again, we have Deadly, we have 7th Legion, we have 7th Legion. So we are running 5 heavy and 2 medium. That's just what we're running, so yeah. Alright, so we have a Deadly Necklace. You want Bloodthirsty if you can. Alright, Bloodthirsty is the best. And then we're using a Ring of Trainee for the 1 piece of health. Here we are using Death Dealer's Feet, my favorite monster set in the entire game. I have Bloodthirsty on it, of course. So if you don't know what Death Dealer does, it essentially gives you about 2,500 stats on everything. So just add 2,500 to each one of these stats, and boom, it's really, really nice. So we sit at about what, over 35k health and 22-ish thousand magic. So that's really nice, and then like 18 almost stamina. So that's solid. But it gives you a lot. It gives you survivability. Allows you to heal more. It allows you to roll more. It allows you to sprint more. It allows you to spam more. It allows you to have more health. Like, it just does a lot for you. And then it also kind of increases your damage because the more magic you have, the more damage you do. So I really, really like this one. You can use Markin if you want. That's up to you. You can even use Sea Serpent's Coil. I'm just a huge fan of having max stats. So maybe that's just a noob in me, but I like having max stats. It is what it is. Alright, so one thing to note I did want to say is that we are using a Flame Staff. Alright, it's very, very, very important we use a Flame Staff for 2 reasons. The first reason, if you didn't know the changes in this patch, is that heavy attacks with a Flame Staff apply a unique dot. Okay, so this dot cannot be applied in any other way. It is simply the heavy attack Flame Staff dot. So that is another dot that will get buffed by the 15%. Alright, so that is nice. You're getting a ton of dots. On top of that, Flame Staffs also make you do 15% more dot damage. Whoa. 15% damage from this, 15% damage from that, 30% dot damage. Yes. That's how much damage the dots are. Alright, so let me just show you that real quick. Okay, so if we go here, right, so fully charged heavy deals an additional blah 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 over 20 seconds, right? So that is buffed. Alright, so what else is buffed? We are at, so increasing your chance to apply status effects is nice. But Inferno stabs, I'm sorry, it wasn't 15%, it was 12%. Inferno stabs increase your damage done with damage over time effects and status effects by 12%. Okay, so that would apply to the poison as well, by the way. So that is very, very, very nice. Alright, so let's go over the skills. There are a couple slots in here you can change out, mostly on the back bar. Alright, so here we have elemental susceptibility. It's an absolute must. Reason being, our status effects do more damage, right? So we need to apply the major breach, and we also need to apply the status effects. And on top of it, this is a free skill. I mean, it's free major breach. Like, it's so good. Alright, here we're using reflective light. Now, you could use the other morph if you want, but who cares about it lasting longer? Like, it's going to do the same amount of damage regardless. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're tripling the amount of damage you're doing with this rather than just making it last longer on one person. Like, of course I want to triple the amount of damage I'm doing on 3 different people, right? You want to keep pressure up on everyone that you can. So, this is the better morph. But this gives you a lot. It's a dot, right? So, it's buffed. It does damage on the hit, which is really nice. It's a snare, which is really nice. And then the best part about it is it's your major prophecy buff. So you're getting spell crit. This skill offers so much. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. It also procs major sorcery. Or minor sorcery, I'm sorry. So it doesn't show you that in there, but it will when I show you. If I can find an enemy. Here's an enemy. Ready? So we hit him. Oh my god, he's too far away. Guys, I'm really selling the clip. I can't hit him. He's too far away. Oh, there we go, look. So we got minor sorcery with that. Okay. So that's very nice. He's gonna try and follow me. So like I said before, that's our spell damage, and then if we use this, we get over 5,400 spell damage. Alright, so that's what I was talking about before. So wanted to note about the monster set as well. If you want to use Balord or Engine Guardian's great. You can. Alright, but Reflective Light's a beast skill. Now here we're using Javelin. Javelin kind of sets up our finisher. So a big combo I'm a fan of is like you get people to a decent amount of health. Let's say you get them to about 50 or 40% health. You hit them with a heavy attack and then throw a Javelin at them and then go right into Radiant Destruction. It's really good. But it's a knockback, so people chase you down and then you knock them back. It kind of pisses them off a little bit. They usually run away. They won't chase you forever. But it does ignore resistances. That's nice, and it does more damage based on how far you are. So it can do a good amount of damage. Radiant Glory is the most broken thing on Earth. So is there really anything to say about it? I mean, like, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. Have you ever seen those Radiant Destruction spammers? They literally only use Radiant Destruction because they don't know how to do anything else. You can be that on this build if you want. Like, it doesn't matter. So have fun. Alright, so Flame Reach, is actually our spammable. So this skill is kind of fire, I'm not gonna lie. No pun intended. Alright, it's a really good skill. It's obviously a spammable. It does a lot of dot damage, right? So it does a lot of dot damage. It has its own unique dot, and it applies burning. So it's doing extra damage on top of it, right? So it's doing burning on top of the spammable, on top of the dot damage. So it's doing a lot of damage, and all of this is buffed by 27%. Right? So all of this is buffed by 27%. Right? So the status effects are buffed. Reflective Light is buffed by 27%. This is not buffed by 27%. This is buffed by 15 at least, or 27, I forget. I don't know if this applies to, because it's a channeled effect. This is buffed by 27% along with the burning status effect that is essentially going to have 100% uptime. And then as our alt, we are using Firestorm. Okay, Firestorm. Now when you morph it, make sure you take Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm is going to hit like a freaking truck. This is buffed by Deadly, and it's also buffed by your Fire Staff. It does 27% extra damage. Dude, I'm telling you, you drop this thing on the crowd, they melt. Most people don't even know it's there. Alright, insane alt. For what we want, this alt is incredible. Yes, you could use Meteor if you wanted to. Feel free. Meteor's great. but this is buffed by everything, and it kind of falls in line with the flame theme we got going. My God, this skill is good. Alright, use it. Trust me, use it. Alright, and then you're also getting free damage from Burning Light. I didn't forget to mention that. When you deal damage, you generate a stack of Burning Light. After reading 4 stacks, you deal damage to the target. So every half second. So basically every 2 seconds, you're doing 2,500. So that's very nice. Alright, so that's the front bar, guys. That is what we're using. Feel free to change anything you feel appropriate. On the back bar, we have Channeled Focus. This is what buffs 7th Legion. It also gives you 480 match recovery if you did not know that. It also heals you. Alright, so you sit in a heal. See? Heals you. 21, 21. Alright. Heals you. Gives you resistance, gives you a lot of recovery, gives you a heal. Very, very nice, and it's cheap. Here we're using Vigor for our Minor Resolve and our heal. Alright, so must needed skill. Here we're using Honor the Dead. This and Polar Wind are my 2 favorite burst heals in the game. Love it. Very, very good skill. Have to have it. Extended Ritual. Cleansing 5. Yes, 5 negative effects from yourself. And healing for every 2 seconds for 30 seconds. Oh, and it also helps your teammates. So, a very, very good skill. Got to have the skill. Here we're using Degeneration. Now, this is our flex spot. Okay, so we're using Degeneration because it's our major sorcery buff, and it's a small dot that does not get buffed by Deadly because it's on the back bar, but that's okay. It's for major sorcery, so you can slot this out if you don't want it. So we're Orc, so we do have a decent amount of movement. We do have movement speed, and we have a cleanse to help us get out of those situations. Now, you have a couple choices. Alright, so here's the one. You can use Power of the Light. Right, Power of the Light is going to be burst damage. It's just more damage. It's going to help you kill people. It's that simple. Right. I don't think it's that good anymore. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You can debate if you want, but I don't think it's that good. I like to go with Elusive Mist. Alright, so Elusive Mist is going to give you Major Expedition. It's going to teleport you, right? And it's going to get you out of a lot of situations that you might not want to be in, right? I do find that this skill is a little clunky and annoying to use. So that's completely up to you. But it does give you Major Evasion as well. So, I mean, it's really a crapshoot. Now, if you don't use Degeneration on your bar, you have to use it in your potions. So, again, this is completely up to you. If you want to spam potions, that's your business. Feel free. You don't have to spam potions, but you can. Whatever you feel is the appropriate choice, I want you to do that. So just feel free to do whatever you think is necessary for your build. I like Degeneration. That's it. Alright, and we are using Life Giver. Life Giver is a great healing ultimate. I love it. So yeah, that's the skills. Again, feel free to change out anything you think necessary. Alright, so CP. These are definitely not going to be optimized, but that's okay. We're using Master at Arms, Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff, Untamed Aggression, and then here we're using Fortified Juggernaut, Sustained by Suffering, Pain's Refuge. So that is the build, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I really do clap people with this build. Like, it honestly is so nice just sitting in my circle. I do a lot of dot damage. I think I get like 8 dots ticking on people or something like that. So, but yeah, let me know if you guys enjoy the build. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your support. Peace out.